Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab. Well, I do what I do for you. It's one of them lessons I came up with. When I came up with it, it seemed like a good idea. Now that I got to put it down, I see where we go with this. I'm just giving you a heads up, right thinkers? Let's do what we do. Rightism 25 rules to live by storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thinkers mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking is way of life, and that's what it is if you do it right. Through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission, and that's what I'm on. To get all right thinkers to know thyself. Right thinkers, if you a right thinker, your goal is to be know thyself. We work together to make that happen. I give you tools that you need. You pick them up, use them, and you will know thyself. Trust me. Let's go. Right thinkers. Let's talk about 10% over 90% usage of the brain. What the what? Well, the title is going to be 10% may be good enough for God, your tithes, and all that good stuff. But 10% usage of your brain is not good enough to know thyself. That's where I'm going with this. Okay? I didn't know where I was going, but I got a better idea now. So work with me. So, right thinkers, the question I asked, do you know you? Okay? A person who is rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Sorry, I missed the whole line there. So a person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not. It's simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. You know the deal. Always to Mayat be true. Right thinkers. 90% over 10% of our brain usage just won't get it done. We know if your subconscious runs the body functions, that's a gimme. So 90% of that subconscious is taking care of the body. You got 10% that you can invest in your time to learn and do what you need to do for you. According to their numbers, 10% of your brain is genius ability. Lie, lie, again, lie. You have an unlimited capacity for intellect and holding information in this thing we call the brain. As my boy would say, think unlimited, think unlimited. Why? We are unlimited beings living in the human dimension right now and having the human experience. But we can think, we can still think and make manifest things happen from our thoughts. That's how it begins. So if you're just using 10% of your thinking capacity, you're not going to go far. 10% of anything don't really amount to much. If you a military, you got 10% off. They give sales the 10%. They just throw 10% away. If you're a Christian, 10% of your earnings go to the church of your choice. For God. No, it's to help to keep the church to tell the truth. So all that God don't need your damn money. So excuse me, but He do need more than 10% of your brain capacity. How about that? So raising your brain capacity, your consciousness, that's what it is. By using more than 10% of your mind requires output by you, effort by you to go a little further, go a little deeper. Don't just say, well, they say this, they say that, and you're good. Do your due diligence. Do some work on your own. Put in your own work. I study. Why? Because I have taken LSD, thought enhancing drugs, back into my day. And for a whole year, in my senior year, I tripped every day. So I know speeding up my thought process works fine for me. Everybody can't handle that. I know that. The government tried it out in the 60s. Failed real bad. And I used to dope people up back in the day, put the acid and stuff, and when they drink it, they get a little twinge of it, and they don't know what's going on, but they be tripping. Mo man used to freak out a lot, and they didn't have a clue what he was on. He was bugging, but he didn't know he was really bugging. But my point to that is, everybody can expand their mind. Some people satisfied with the slow thought process and creeping along, not thinking too much. Those are the ones who's gonna stay here and repeat. Why? They didn't learn nothing. You're here to learn a life lesson. Another lesson, sorry about that. But using 10% of your brain capacity won't get you to learn that lesson. That's my point. Moving on. When you just believe in something, that means you don't have to think about it. That's your subconscious. You ain't got to think about your heart breathing. You ain't got to think about the heart pumping blood. You ain't got to think about none of that. But the thing that you do have to think about, how good are you at that? And if you just giving 10% effort, that's really not enough. Let's go. The subconscious use more than 10%. Really? So you're going to let your subconscious outwork your conscious? 10% use of anything ain't good. How about that? They give 10% away. If I got $1, I give you a dime. If I got $100, I give you $1. See? And no matter how much they get, 10% of it ain't gonna hurt them. But let's flip it. If you need more than 10% to get where you got to go, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna struggle. Get the concept? So think. It ain't illegal yet, but thinking right is a concept that we have yet to accept. Why is that? And if we know that lack of knowledge is our problem, we ain't doing nothing to make getting knowledge a priority. I'm doing my job. I'm here every day to give you what you need so you can know thyself. So I'm doing my part. Moving on. Sorry about that. Now, I'm a numbers man, okay? And 10% of anything is just not enough, okay? Much in the way of cash or anything else, especially in the way of knowledge, we are given the most sophisticated machinery known to man. This thing, brain, the consciousness. And if you just go, that's like having a sports car. My car go 260 miles an hour. But I'm just going to use 10% of it. I'm just going to drive 26 miles an hour. Get the concept? So, idea is use what you have, find out what it is, and go far as you can with it. Push it, and push it some more. That's how you find out what endurance you got, how intelligent you are. Why? You keep learning, you keep striving. I ain't nowhere near as smart as I want to be, or I think I should be, but that's why I study, to continue to learn. Even with a master's degree of self in a few other areas. But that doesn't mean, I'm good. I'm put degrees on my. I ain't got time for that nonsense at my man's house. He got all the stuff on the wall. I remember those days. I still got one. Okay, I still got it. We all want to show off. I'm at the point now. I'm not big on showing off. That's all. I've outgrown that. That's egoism at its highest form. Look at what I got. Look at me. Yeah. The drum major mentality. Look at me. Yeah. Egoism. Let's go. Self-grandizing. Moving on. Now, where you at? And if you're just using 10% of your conscious mind, you're not going to make it to the next level of nihas. What? Spiritual enlightenment. It takes more than 10%. That's why. Right here we go. Perfect segue. That's why you have you have to gain control over what? Your ego self. The ego gladly take the 10% and do what it wants to do. Why? It don't care. But with knowledge of self, the ego will have to acquiesce and give way to what? The real deal. The higher level consciousness, somebody who wants to do the right thing, he only gonna do what he wants to do if he has the opportunity. You take that away, you put him in the service mode, you're fine. But it's going even the ego, why more than 10%? Just saying. So please understand 10% of anything ain't really good. Alright. What we have down here? Okay, yeah. Our mind, again, the most best machine known to man, and it's unlimited in its capacity and its use. But being ignorant, meaning you're not putting the pedal to the metal. You're only going fast as you put the foot down. If you're going to sit there and you comfortable at that little speed, okay, little old lady just drive past it, whatever. But if you bought this sports car, you got this pretty big machine on all that horsepower and you don't use it, that's like wasting. That's 10% of your brain capacity. It's just wasting the rest 90% away. Why? The subconscious got it, but it's just running the functions of the body. It ain't running your thought concept. But ignorance meaning you don't know. Dumb or stupid mean you ain't trying to learn or know. That's the problem. Being ignorant, we can work with that. That's my job, to take you from being ignorant to enlighten you. But if you don't want it, that's just dumb. That ain't my problem. That's yours. Now, and understand this, 10% use of anything is not good. It's like having, again, a race car and not driving it to its full capacity. Why'd you get it? That's like, I see guys driving Corvettes. That was my little dream car when I was a kid. Why? All the girls like Corvettes or the Lamborghinis or that. Okay, yeah. But if you get that car, you want it for speed. And you don't drive it, what's the person getting it? So again, you get them things to exercise your right to do just that. When you get knowledge, you exercise your right to what? To exercise it, to show it off by acting, being, and doing the things that people will recognize and respect you for. 90% of our brain, aka our subconscious, is in control. You can tap into that. That's what you need to be doing. Your subconscious mind runs 100% of the body. So you don't have to do nothing when it comes to that. Use that time to what? Download and acquire what? Useful information. We take a bunch of entertainment, TikTok and all that stupid, a few seconds to fire off the dopamines in the brain for that quick rush, that quick quick laugh, or quick rush. I explained to you before. If you don't know how to have a mental orgasm, you need to do some more meditating. Moving on. It ain't all physical. If you study, aka download information that's useful information. I love learning and living what? The things that I learned. What the hell you learning for? Try it out. Test drive right thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You might like it. I use my brain power way past 10%. And I'm nowhere near genius. Why? I just use it to satisfy me. I'm excited about pushing my brain to the next level. See how far it can go. Why? It can't break it. Okay? So, because I know things, just because I study, I learn, I download information, and I was prepared for this 20 years ago. When I was studying, learning stuff that I'm doing now, I was learning this 20 years ago. Just learning it, now, man, oh man, oh man. I had no idea I was going to be here. Now that I'm here, I get it. I understand it. Let me do what I do. Now I'm trying to help you do the same thing for yourself. It's a beautiful thing to know thyself. That's all I got for you. Moving on. Where are we at? 90% of it, okay. Okay, there you go. Learning new, aka information or spiritual truths, will make you use more brain power. Why? To incorporate what you're learning. It's starting to expand now. The brain starts to say, whoa, I didn't know that. Oh, they didn't tell me that. Oh, yeah, the light goes on. Eureka, I get it. That's what feeds the brain information that it can use and absorb and manifest. It loves to do that. Trust me, that's what I do with mine. You can live on, again, you can live on the BC Nation, the third level where you can just, fight from flight, You know how to sexually generate it, and you know how to run yourself. You can live like that. You'll be back. Trust me. That's all physical. That's all you. Next level, heart level, fourth level up. Now you start learning about what other people. That takes away the ego. The ego got to be suppressed when the heart stepped on him. He would give in. Shh, that's another secret. If you raise your level, you'll know that too. Now, you can live on the third level and use 10%. Then what? Of your mind, because your subconscious takes care of it. That's just lazy. Again, if you got it made, you got a situation where you ain't got to do much, that don't make you better. It makes you lazy. When you ain't got to think, you ain't got to manifest, you just living. That's never good. All right, let's get this lesson out of the way. Now, you got 10% is our conscious state. Has to increase. Just using 10% ain't going to get us where we want to go. Like my man says on Star Trek, Jim, we need more power. He called out to my man, the engineer, Scotty, we need more power, whatever. But yeah, 10% of your conscious mind, you need to use more of it, please. It won't hurt. Trust me, you won't break it. Knowing your name, your sex, your age, etc. Man, that's 10% use right there. That's right there. That's 10%. Now, what else do you know about yourself? Do you know your likes, your dislikes, why you like them, why you don't like them? Do you know thyself, the real you? Nope. Nope. That takes what? More than 10%. That's why. And if you don't invest that in you, what else you got to do? Oh, I'm going to get me a degree. I'm going to be a CEO. That don't increase your self-knowledge. So 10% it takes more than 10% of your mind. If you just using 10% of your mind, you are ignorant. Simple as that. 10% use. Oh, now here you go. If you just use 10% of your mind, you're unenlightened of your true self. Again, ignorant. With knowledge of self, it dispels the ignorance. So if you're still using 10% or just using 10%, you are and you will remain ignorant of your higher self. Why? You ain't putting out the things you need to do to learn more about yourself, to expand the consciousness. 10% of your use, watch this, 10% use of your mind is for the who? You ready? The believers. If you believe what they're telling you, you're only using 10% of your mind because you're not putting in the work, your due diligence to find out or learn otherwise, aka the truth. If you're just using 10% of your mind, you're a believer. And that's any religion. It's called a belief system. And if you follow any religion, you following a belief system. I was in church today, good lesson about God, Adam and Eve. I feel bad because I text laughing my ass off and I forgot I'm in a church environment, but I'm laughing for a whole different reason. I don't know why I texted out. I said, oh no. But listen to that story. I'm dying. Dude, God told Adam when he asked him, Adam, why did you do what I told you not to do? Well, that woman that you gave me, he just passed the buck. He threw Eve under the bus, but then not counter reacted. But then I didn't tell Eve. I told you. I gave you the commandment. So the women started laughing. They felt so good. They off the hook. Yeah, stop blaming women for what you do. The service was the devil made me do it. And my response is, you the devil. When you go in opposition to God, you are the devil. That's the concept. Just want to get that out of the way. But if you're using 10% of your mind, the devil got you. You in the devil's domain. Simple. Let's go. What? Of ignorance of your higher self. That's what the devil wants you. You 10%ers. If you want to be led by your belief, you're mentally lazy. And you will remain ignorant of your higher self until you what? Get up off your rusty dusty and do something other than just believe. Moving on. 10%ers are all those who are ignorant belief system followers. I gotta keep telling you that. I'm gonna call you that. I could care less. You're my friend, whoever. You are ignorant. Simple as that. Church people, Family, I love you. But you're still ignorant. They ain't gonna do it with me. My love for you don't have nothing to do with what I think and what I know about you. Understand that I still love you. How about that? So don't get caught up in that. I just try to make a point. That's all. Last one, and wrap it up. Yeah, right thinking philosophy gets you to use more than your 10%. That's a lot of people don't want me. Why? I got you doing something that you might not want to do. What, think? A lot of people don't want to think. They just want to believe. I don't want to be told. I want to think. I want to be able to make the ability. I want to have the ability to think for myself and make decisions based on what I know, not what I got to believe somebody told me. You think I'm going to let you tell me God took a rib from Adam to make Eve? That's something you can tell a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, but at a certain point, that's not going to hold water. Yeah, I've been telling that same story for over 2,000 years now. Moving on, I ain't going there. But let's talk about this one right quick. I will teach you how to use more than your 10% to be what? In better conscious state of mind. Why you need to do that. With 10% brain use, you will never, you ready for this? With 10% brain use, you will never obtain mastery of yourself. Your ego self will win every time. If ego is 90% and good is 10%, you'll lose every time. Simple as that. Hold on. Excuse me. Yeah. If you only using 10%, you're going to lose to 90% every time. The masses is 85% ignorant. So the 5%, which I'm in the group, know the truth. The 10% know the truth. They fleecing you to tell you a lie. They don't even know the truth. How about that? Moving on. Let me get that out the way. Now, we live in a mental world. It's all mental. And all you want to use is give 10%. Just like, stop. Moving on. When you raise your consciousness above your 10% uses, now you're becoming what? Knowledge of self. You're becoming knowing thyself from another perspective of mentality. Not just say, well, he said this or they said that, so I'm going to go with it. No, you can manifest the truth by what? Practicing it. I give it to you every day. You have the ability to what? Think way past what? The obvious. That's that 10%. You know, some of the stories they tell you, if you can't see that stuff is not all that, you ain't watching the obvious. I gave you the rules, the 5 basics rules, the tools. Use them. Smelling, seeing, hearing. Those are things that you can use in every scenario. Moving on. That's becoming higher consciousness. Using all your senses, not just for physical pleasure, but for mental understanding. Last one. Appreciate you tuning in. You have the ability, your mind is unlimited. Use all of it. Thinking right is what? Thinking unlimited. In order to know thyself, you got to think unlimited. That's the lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Get up more than 10% of your consciousness to know thyself. Excuse me. And in closing, may all you right thinking, excuse me, live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinker like you passed away. I'll be back. You know the deal.